Thank you everybody for watching this video. Push the like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and push that notification bell. It will help us tremendously to grow this channel. We have a bunch of stuff coming out for you, the fans, unique content, so please stay tuned. JHK here for the AllStar, and join me right now is UFC heavyweight Josh Parisian. Josh, thank you so much, man, for the time. You're in the middle of camp, but you're spending a little time with the family. How's life treating you?
Everything's great, man. I've had a great camp. My little girl's growing up so fast and having lots of fun with that. It's awesome to be a stay-at-home dad, kind of as well. I get a lot of time with her, so yeah, everything's going good.
How is it taking your daughter to the gym every day?
I don't take her to the gym every day, but it is fun to take her to the gym because it's just like this giant open space, and then the cage is like this giant pack and play where I just lock her in there, and then I can go do whatever, and she's totally fine.
Yeah, that's right. You could lock her in there with toys or whatever.
Yeah,
If you
I throw
know,
some balls in there and stuff,
yeah.
and she just yeah.
That's not a bad situation, man. That's pretty good. Let's
Yeah.
jump into your last fight, right? The split decision win versus Roque Martinez. You know, when you look back at that fight now, were there any aspects that you did not like about that fight?
Um, one thing I didn't like about the fight, and it's kind of a complaint that I have about a lot of my fights, is I tend to be a slow starter, and I just started so slow and let him pick up momentum, and then I had to take it back. But I feel like that happens a lot, and that's just something I'm trying to break.
What can you do? What are you doing to combat that?
Um, let's see. Well, I mean, a lot of self-talk. You know what I mean? Like remind myself that that just I need to be sharp and every time I start around with somebody, I'm moving around and being sharp and stuff like that. I think a lot of times it happens because I'm always sparring with people that whether it's light sparring or sparring with people that aren't super good. You know what I mean? So I just get in the habit of like, okay, kind of like super lackadaisical until I start getting hit and then shit is happening and then I kind of pick it up a little bit. So like, oh, I'm in a fight here. But even with like new people, or when we're going light, I still move and I'm moving around. I'm feinting aggressively and being aware and not just letting I'm not just letting them throw punches to block them. Just to you know what I mean. I try to make it more like a fight.
Well, even with that, you know, throughout the past couple of years, you've had a streak of just first and second round finishes. So once you get started, it's like full speed steam ahead for you.
Sometimes if I get hit good, well, two things. If I get hit really good, it wakes me up. Like okay, or I'm nervous, like I'm really nervous for the fight. Then I'll be better. You know what I mean? And I felt like the Roki fight, I wasn't super nervous. The Parker fight, I wasn't super nervous. I guess I was nervous, but it was not nerves about my opponent. It was nervous about just the situation that I was in. That doesn't make, but those nerves don't make me real sharp. You know what I mean? If I'm scared, if I'm nervous about the person in front of me, like, this guy's gonna try to fuck me up, then I'm gonna be a little bit on edge and sharp. Which I think that I'll have in this fight here because I think he's a great striker. I think he's got knockout power. That's it's concerning. You know what I mean? And I think that I'll go out there fighting with giving him the respect that he deserves.
I don't know if we've talked about this in the past, but have you gone to like somebody like a hypnotist or something? Because a lot of people are doing that nowadays.
I haven't talked to a hypnotist. I've done. I didn't know that was a thing. That would be cool. I've talked to a mindset coach, um, and that has helped a lot actually. A lot of self talk, a lot of self affirmations, and reminding myself about what I'm grateful for, and that I'm grateful to be there, and all that stuff, and that helps a lot. Um, reminding myself too that like this situation is very important to me, but at the same time, it's not important to me at all. You know what I mean? So like it means a lot to me, but at the end of the day, like I have my family, I have all this stuff. Like, I mean, if whatever happens, happens. I'm going to give it my all. I always give it my all. I give it my best. But if it takes some pressure off, knowing that like it's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? Because if I think too much about it and I tie my self worth to it, and you know I'm Josh the fighter, and if I lose, then I lose a part of myself. Then it's like a way more stressful situation than just reminding myself that like I'm Josh who fights. It's just something that I do, and I'm going to do my best. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You know, what I mean, I'm still me, and doesn't change anything.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, that you've had this long streak of first and second round finishes, and your last two fights went to the judges. Have you learned from those fights? Like, man, I can go to the judges, or it's like, man, I should not be going to the judges. I should be getting these first and second round finishes.
Yeah, it's like I don't even though I won my last one. Like even if I win this one, it goes to a decision. It doesn't look good for me. You know what I mean? A heavyweight that keeps going to decision. I think I do well. You know what I mean? I'm not just super lazy. Second, third round, like it's kind of like walking around like an ogre. I'm moving and I'm still throwing and stuff like that. I think that looks good on me. But decisions don't look good. So I would definitely like to get a finish. No matter how I do it, I want to finish the fight, and it's changed my it has changed my approach in training, like my athleticism training. I've been working so much power, creating some maximum damage, and uh, outside of all the mental issue side of it, where maybe I'm not getting a knockout because of that. Um, I'm working on that, but I'm also working on the ability to put somebody to sleep very easily. So, maybe one doesn't work, but I just knock them out because I just hit hard. Maybe that's all I needed. You know what I mean? As long as I'm working every piece of the puzzle.
In the last fight, when you took some damage, I saw that you had a broken nose, and your foot was swollen pretty bad. How long did those injuries take to heal?
The broken nose. I keep forgetting I got a broken nose because it didn't actually move. But it was broken two places, but it was perfectly aligned. But I didn't get punched for like a month after that. But I did get surgery on my septum because that was folded and I couldn't breathe through my nose. And then while they're in there, they found something that was like a football shaped blockage blocking my breathing to my nose. And they said that like that didn't happen through any sort of injury or anything. That just happened. I was probably born with it. So they got rid of that, and I can breathe through my nose like way better. I can never really breathe through my nose. And it's funny because like commentators like, oh, he's breathing through his mouth. I'm like, I have to. I walk in here breathing through my mouth. I can't breathe through my nose. Um, but the foot was 6 weeks. I had to do some physical therapy, but that's good. Just I partially torn ligament in my toe from kicking him. Um, but yeah, even through that, I kept training and I was very consistent. I just worked around it and put weight on the nose. I didn't get punched in the face.
Being able to breathe through your nose now, how has that impacted your training?
Uh, it's 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 definitely beneficial, but it's also a thing I have to learn to do. Like right now, even though I can breathe through my nose, I'm breathing through my mouth because it's a habit. I actually have my little stuffy, I guess. But focusing on that, and like in between rounds, like belly breathing to the belly, the back, the chest, the track, just getting all the much air as I can, and I feel like that's helped a lot in bringing my heart rate down. Because like if you're like even if you're sitting, your heart rate isn't going down because it's like preemptively getting ready because you're breathing hard. It's like a body thing. So I've been working on slowing my breathing down and using my nose and stuff like that.
Breathing is like, just recently people started to like kind of get into it deeper and deeper, especially in fighting, that how important it is to control your breathing, and especially between rounds, it's so important. Have you felt that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like it's hard. Actually, it's hard to tell because my conditioning and everything is really good right now. I feel really, really, really good. But I've also been very consistent with aerobic cardio. I've been doing tons of running, tons of stuff like in my outside of camp before I got into camp, and then I started doing more anaerobic stuff. So it's hard to tell what it is. Maybe it's a combination of both, but I feel so much better. And I'm able to recover faster and in between rounds. And
Dontale Mays, he's also coming off a win over Rocky Martinez.
yeah,
And what do you think about his skill set? And what do you think about his fight against Rocky?
I thought he did a much better job than I did at keeping him away, like striking at a distance. Um, and I think that I think he's a good striker. I think he's got a lot of power in his hands. He's a scary dude, you know what I mean? But I think that he will start out strong. He always does, and he hits a point where like he doesn't necessarily crash, but he just coasts for the rest of the fight at the same pace. Uh, which is it's a good skill on its own, you know what I mean? But I think that I just don't think that at some point in the fight he either has to match my pace or he'll have to slow it because I think I'm going to put a higher pace.
The pace, like you just mentioned, right, of starting strong and then kind of coasting, it's really dangerous against kind of like your pace, where you kind of
Yeah,
go out there and keep your distance from him, slow, get used to the your opponent, and then you go forward.
yeah, I think so too. I mean, the Parker fight, him and I have the record for most punches thrown in a heavyweight fight in the UFC outside of a title fight. In my last fight, I threw a lot of punches. I just throw a lot of punches. You know, man, it's a heavy pace, and I have better cardio than I've ever had. So I think he either at this point he either did the conditioning or he did do the conditioning. You know what I mean? So well, I guess we'll find out. Find out if he was ready for that.
Besides, being able to breathe through your nose, anything else different about camp?
Yeah, like I said, the aerobic cardio, the running, all that stuff. I never really did that. Like sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I went running, but like I'll do it like once and not do it very often. But I was very consistent with it, and I'm working with my conditioning coach, my athletic development coach at Phoenix. We've been doing all kinds of new stuff and stuff that I really like, and I feel like I'm learning my body and how it works and how I create power and all that stuff, and I feel good about that. So yeah, I'm just super happy. And like I really care about my athletic development right now as well. So him and I actually worked less this time, but I did way more work on my own. Um, and I think I did everything that I felt that I needed to do.
Daniel Spitz, he's part of your camp. How is it working with him?
Oh, Dan's great. I actually was in a lot of his camps for his fights. I think I was in all but maybe one, except for his last one, I think. And we're always good trading partners, and it never gets crazy. Neither of us have like an ego where we have to try to smash each other or whatever, or hurt each other in any way. It's never like that. He was a perfect trading partner. He was only here for a week, but it was like right at the end here. It was great because he's 6'7", Dontale's 6'6". My training partners are 6 foot, but 6 inches. I want to get used to that height. Um, and then Dan put a lot of effort into like watching video, simulating my opponent, all the little things that he consistently does, and um, he did a great job for me.
With everything in motion, man, how do you see this fight playing out?
Man, I always say it. I see it playing out with me getting 50K bonus. That's I hope. It hasn't happened yet, but I go out there and I work really hard. I should get some sort of bonus.
For sure. And, when you look at the fight and look at what you've been through in your first two fights, it's almost like it's like a build up, you know what I mean? Like a build up, you found out that now you could breathe through your nose. All these things have an effect, right, on performance. So we could see the best version of you in this fight.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I think, and I think he probably, if he watched me at all, he has to be a little bit like stressed. Like, this guy, I always come forward. It's hard to put me out, and I don't really back down ever. I'll just keep throwing. Even if you're hitting me, I'm hitting you. You know what I mean? I think that's a stressful opponent to have, and um, I think he's nervous, or he just doesn't care enough to be nervous. He didn't watch, didn't maybe did, I don't know. I'm curious where his mindset is because he's 2-1 in the UFC, or no, 1-2. So I'm curious to know what his mindset is. Like, is he like, I'm done with it. Like, it wasn't for me. It didn't work out, or like, I'm gonna make a comeback. You know what I mean? I just I thought a lot about it, but at the same time, I'm only expecting the best version of him to come out, and that's what I trained for. So
I feel like this is a matchup because you guys are, kind of similar in record. He might have one more fight, but if you win this one, that's two in a row. It's kind of like who gets to step up in competition with this bout, right?
yeah, yeah, maybe make some more money too.
hmm
That
That's always good.
yeah, 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 for sure. Yeah, it's important. Like I said, it's important. It's not important at the same time, but
Yeah.
like as far for my career in fighting and moving forward and making the most of my opportunity here, it's important.
December 18th, man, you get your shot against Dontale Mace. It's gonna be
Yeah,
I think it's stylistically, it's better than your first two fights, I believe. For like a
yeah.
finish.
No, I think so too because it's somebody who Roki, he's never been knocked out. That's just that dude's got a cinder block for a head. I don't know if he'll ever be knocked out. Did you see the kick where I snap kicked him and split him under his chin? Like you could see the fat and everything. It was like to the bone. Like he didn't even like do one of those. He just didn't react at all. I remember. I thought I missed. Honestly, he just didn't do anything. Um, and then the Parker fight. Something happened there with nerves, like a huge adrenaline dump, and I was like up and I just couldn't create power. And it was just I was throwing lots of punches, but I think that because I respect this guy's power so much and I respect his striking, um, that it's gonna bring out the best version of me. So I hope for that.
Definitely, lessons learned from the previous. Enter this fight at your best. Thank you, Josh, man, for the time.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Hey, I had questions for you.
Yeah,
Are we still live?
yeah,
We still live?
yeah,
Okay. Where do you live? You live in Korea?
yes,
You do this full time?
yes. I
This
do
is your
this
full
full time.
time
I
gig?
just went full time a couple months ago.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Awesome. That's cool. Why do you speak such good English? It's like perfect.
I grew up in the States.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Okay. Where'd you grow up at?
When I was younger, I lived near Baltimore, and then after that,
Oh, okay.
I went back to Korea, came back to the States, lived in Georgia for a little bit, and then moved to Seattle, and kind of spent my teenage years in Seattle mostly.
Oh, okay. Awesome. I'm going to Seattle for Christmas.
Oh, it's
Okay,
nice
cool.
at that time. Well, Seattle's just beautiful, except for the rain, but the landscape
Yeah.
is phenomenal.
Yeah. No, I'm pumped. I'm pumped to see it.
Maybe you'll see
All right,
Bigfoot
cool.
out there.
You're, yeah, maybe. I see Mike Kiesa out there.
Yeah.
Just big hairy guy. Uh, I had questions. You're such a mysterious person. I had questions for you, so I'm glad you answered those.
It's all good, man. Anytime, man. Thank you, Josh, man. We've been talking every fight, so
Yeah, yeah,
let's just
yeah,
continue
yeah,
it
yeah.
until the wheels fall off.
All right, I appreciate it, man.
All
Thanks
right,
for the
man.
interview.
Take care.
Yeah, bye.